race, video race of the day is Aqueduct Race 3. We're on, this is November the 18th race. And I'm going to look at this race. I'm going to start with the plot. Again, people new to this, we kind of go through and look at the way we assess these plots. We kind of look at the header information. So yellow plot fit, that's good. Contention is the sun and speed rating's 25. So just looking at that, I would say that both early and late horses have a chance. It's not really leaning heavily in either direction. Okay, we'll evaluate the first group of horses, the EPs, horses that are going to be up early or press. And it looks like they're all going to be kind of going for that lead early. The four, I have the 4, 6, and 7 here. And of the 4, 6, and 7, it looks like the 4 has an edge. He's higher on the second call. He's close up on the first call. Looks like the 7 might be a little bit more forward than the 4, looking at the leftmost horse here. So it looks like the 7 and the 4 will be competing for the lead. The 6 looks like the 6 doesn't really keep up on the second call, so that gives the edge to the 4 and 7, and the 4 looks like he has the best finishing ability. So I would say from an early pace perspective, that horse has the best chance to kind of hang on for a piece or win the race. I thought the 5 looked a little interesting. He's one of the presser closers, and he looks like he'll be more in a maybe presser situation where he could be just like off that first flight, sit a decent trip. He's a circle, but still he's high enough up in the air that maybe he can get a piece. When you look at his form, and we'll go through it, he's improving. He's a little cheap in terms of class, but he's improving, and he has some back races, and especially at this one-turn mile that are pretty good, so something to include. And then the other horse that when we look at the late pace horses, the 1 doesn't match up, the 2 doesn't kind of match up, neither does the 3 at the surface and distance, but the 8, even though his standard plot's no good, his surface and distance plot really fits, and he's another horse that's on the improve. So we'll show you that when we go through the form cycle analysis. Okay, so let's get into the form cycle. Let's look at the grid, and I want to start with the number 7 because he's going to be the morning line favorite, Nicky the Best. Showed a lot of promise in his debut, ran a big race, big figure as a 2-year-old, B+. Really showed some acceleration when he burst after braking slowly. And you can see the extended comment. Broke slow, but made the lead after several jumps. A sharp move, pulled away in the stretch. A good win, okay? And he earned a B+. Came right back in a stakes race 58 days later and won the stakes race by 11 lengths. So this horse obviously has some ability. And so even with the further age progression, we're expecting the horse to, maybe even be go forward. But it's been another year. It's almost been 9 months since this horse's last run. And that's a concern. He might need the race. He's got a world of ability, obviously, but, he's going to be tested by that 4 early on, and that could be to his undoing. So we're going to give him the race here. And, again, a horse that has a lot of ability, but most likely the morning line favorite is going to go off the favorite. So it's a horse we want to probably take a chance against in this race and give him a race and see how he comes back off the long layoff. Okay, let's go to the one we mentioned before, Thorny Tail. He looks a little light in terms of some of the races that he's won, but he's in career form, and you could even see that he ran a 90 in a stakes race, non-graded stakes race. They couldn't keep up going a mile against some better horses, but still, his other races are really good. And you can see his numbers all hovering around mid upper 90s. He even broke through a triple figure optics figure, triple digit optics figure. So yeah, okay, he's maybe not running against the best horses, but this horse is in just sharp form, and we loved his last race. He dueled against the flow of the race and hung in there and won the race. Ness ships in. He's a very good local trainer. He's a very good trainer overall, and he brings his local jockey. Love to see local jockeys arrive for these types of races because that means the horse is well met. Now the horse comes back in 16 days. But he's been able to come back and run well after similar short layoffs. So again, he looks like a strong contender and looks like the best of the early pace types. and see. It's just all going to depend on how much the 7 takes out of him early if he's able to hang on. The other horse that we talked about was the number 5, Durkin's Call. Now, there's a horse that, if you look at it, go back to his older races, I mean, especially at the level, he was kind of, you know, not really competitive. I'm sorry, if you go back to his early in his career, this horse had some really good races, going the 1 turn mile. And then they got very ambitious, put him in a grade 3. He won the same race in 2019 that the favorite won last year. So, I mean, that's interesting. And he ran a B plus, but they got ambitious and he went south a little bit. Then they tried the turf, and then they tried sprinting and all the rest. He switched from the Actress to the Rice Barn more recently, and they moved him up in his last race. He was slow out of the gate, but he still ran a credible third. So he's back at today's level. He's an improving horse. He's got back class that kind of fits with these horses, and he's going to be a price. The other thing is that the 12 days that he swings back is a positive thing, because this is kind of a good thing for Rice. She's very good at Aqueduct with these horses where she kind of runs them right back. And we think this horse's form is headed in the right way, and he could be competitive. He is competitive on numbers, little light on class, recent class, but maybe he reaches back and remembers some of those older races early in his career and gets back to that. So he's a contender at a nice, juicy 8-1. And then finally, the 8 horse was the other horse we looked at and thought he looked pretty good on the plot, Troubleshooter. This is another horse that's improving. This is his second race off a layoff. Again, he started off his career with some promise. Finger Lakes, his all numbers were improving. Shipped to Belmont, ran a good race there. Non-winners won. And then kind of went off form. But it looks like he's getting back to form. You see the improving optics figs, and his last race was very impressive. He closed, strong finish, improving. Looks like he should enjoy longer distance. This is an improving horse. This is what you want to kind of be looking for in these types of races, especially with these younger horses. You want to see the one that's kind of improving. Where the 7 is coming off a layoff, don't know where he is in his form cycle. The 8 and 5 are improving, and the 4 looks like he's just in career form. So if you're going to play this race, enjoy it. You got our analysis, but we're looking 4, 5, and 8 to do better than the favorite in here, and the rest of the horses don't really fit a lot on the criteria we're looking at. So that's it. This is Aqueduct Race 3 tomorrow, November the 18th.